Hi everyone, welcome to the IoT Hero Show, my weekly showcase of thought leadership in the Internet of Things. My name is Tom Raftery, I'm the Global IoT Evangelist for SAP, and now, on with the show. Hi everyone, welcome to the IoT Hero Show. My name is Tom Raftery, I'm a VP and Global IoT Evangelist for SAP. Welcome to the show. With me on the show today, I have Sindhu. Sindhu, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Tom. Great to be talking to you as well today. And hi, everybody. My name is Sindhu Gangadharan, and I head up product management for SAP Cloud Platform Integration and IoT, and also process orchestration. So been with SAP for close to 18 years and working on multiple integration technologies, and now it's integration in the context of IoT that keeps me quite busy and pretty excited to be in this space and happy to be talking to you today, Tom, on this topic.
Super, Sindhu. Integration, what with respect to IoT, what are the big integration issues that people come up against?
For customers, it's important that, or from an SAP point of view, it's important that it's not only about integrating the things and providing the best-in-class integration for how do you integrate all your devices, sensors, and machines, but from an SAP point of view, I think we are also best positioned as a vendor to connect things from the edge to the core business apps of the enterprise in a very seamless manner, right? And this is where integration comes into play because for me, the thing is just another asset that needs to be integrated. It's no doubt a very valuable asset, but like I said, the value really unlocks itself mainly when you integrate it with the rest of the enterprise and with the rest of the business applications that the customer has, right? And the real differentiation is all in the ability to connect to the things and integrate them very quickly and bring them in the context of the business process, leveraging best-in-class integration, best-in-class machine learning, etc., to make meaning so that we move from a reactive to a much more predictive kind of a future. And I totally believe that SAP has all the key elements in place to make this possible, right? And when it comes to challenges, yes, integration is indeed a challenge, but this is why we are also solving it with best-in-class integration technologies from the core platform capabilities.
So, Sindhu, I heard about the plat.one acquisition last year. Can you tell me how that fits into this?
Like we started off by asking the question on challenges that customers face, right? And what I still see quite a bit is, from a technical perspective at least, some of the most common challenges that I hear from customers is still around all the diverse connectivity and all the diverse protocols that exist in this space, right? So this is still a big challenge for customers when it comes to planning and deploying IoT projects. This is, of course, followed by scaling out of these projects and then followed by how do I analyze all the data that comes in. But these are kind of sequential, if you ask me. And in order to address that first question is also why the plat.one acquisition fits nicely, because this is what we did end of last year. So SAP acquired plat.one last September 2016, and we announced it to the world out there as part of the Trenitalia event that happened. And plat.one is a leading enterprise-grade IoT solutions platform, actually. And the cool thing is that plat.one is also very complementary to the capabilities that we have on the SAP Cloud Platform. And it fits perfectly into the Leonardo portfolio, especially now if you look at the capabilities, what we're doing is we're bringing that into the SAP Leonardo Foundation as well as the Leonardo Edge components. And if you look at plat.one, like I said, it really enables the rapid development and scalable management of enterprise IoT projects. And what it brings to the table is a very comprehensive device connectivity and device management capabilities that is supported over a wide number of industry standard machine and messaging protocols. So like I said, this challenge on variety of protocols is something that we can immediately address with this offering by bringing that into the SAP Cloud Platform, because behind the scenes, also plat.one is following a microservices-based adaptive architecture that allows us to run logic on the device, at the edge, or on the cloud, right? So depending on the customer's solution requirements. So this is extremely key, and it also has a semantic data model that kind of abstracts information or underlying sensors and devices, and you can kind of map it to more business objects, such as, take an example like a truck or a street lamp or whatever, right? And it also came with a lot of solution accelerators for supporting different IoT use cases. And right now, some of these solution accelerators, which fall into the context of solutions like smart cities or connected products, we're also mapping it into the Leonardo application portfolio. So there again, there's a good fit. And right now, we are running a beta program for these capabilities, which are running on the SAP Cloud Platform, and particularly focusing also on the device management, the protocols that are supported both on the edge as well as in the cloud. So to summarize, the plat.one acquisition really hits upon that spot of making sure that we are able to integrate into any kind of devices or sensors, irrespective of the protocols that we need to have supported.
Okay, and what are the edge capabilities of the SAP Cloud Platform like?
We have an architecture that really allows you to seamlessly work across these endpoints. Of course, on the cloud, with Cloud Platform, we have all the capabilities for managing devices and so on. But in certain environments, you need to make sure that you're having capabilities at the edge which work hand in hand with your cloud services, which means edge meaning running close to devices or running on the router or running on the gateway to be able to connect and manage your devices much more locally, right? And in many cases, what we're also seeing is at the edge, these capabilities are necessary to run disconnected from the cloud for certain periods of time, right? Take examples like a mining truck that is out there with a very patchy connectivity. Or if you want to perform local analytics and filtering before you send the data to the cloud, especially when we are talking about sending data over low power networks like Sigfox or LoRa, right? These are typical use cases where you don't want to send all the bulky data into the cloud, but kind of perform local analytics or filtering at the edge. And this is where the SAP Cloud Platform IoT Edge services are implemented. Like I said, in a microservices-based container architecture that allow you to have kind of an intelligent placement of capabilities at the edge, depending on customers' needs. And in terms of footprint, we have a very, very small footprint of the edge component. It's about 150 MB that only needs a Java runtime environment available with no OS limitations. So to summarize for you, the edge capabilities also include buffering of this data, sensor data when not connected to the cloud, also capabilities like making sure that you have guaranteed delivery of data between the edge and the cloud. You can also have aspects like scheduled delivery. So you probably, depending on how critical the information is to you, you can kind of say, I just want to schedule it once a day. But also what is key is to make sure that you have the possibility to also push in software upgrades of the edge component on a regular basis. So device firmware upgrades are also key capabilities besides the compression of data that I talked about at the edge. So quite some powerful capabilities that we have at the edge, which allow you to handle these kind of scenarios that require these capabilities to run closer to the devices than at the cloud, right?
Okay, interesting. And you mentioned the technical challenges involved in things like connectivity and protocols. How do we handle that?
As part of the Leonardo Foundation, which includes the cloud platform capabilities, we already have the protocols that we that are even now supported as part of the beta program. So already protocols like HTTPS, MQTT, file, the constraint application protocol like CoAP. All these are supported protocols, right? And so we ensure that we're able to securely connect to remote devices over a broad variety of IoT protocols. And of course, you might come back and say, hey, I have a very specific protocol that is not part of your list. Here, we also have a process in place where, based on customer demand, we can also incorporate protocols that the customer needs. So there are very, if you ask me, exotic protocols like BACnet, which is primarily used in building automation and control networks, right, or Profibus or Infibus. So these are protocols that we said, okay, let's see what the customer demand is, and then kind of expose that protocol support. Behind the scenes, we have it. And in addition to that, what we are also offering customers is an Eclipse-based SDK, which allows you to actually extend already delivered protocols and also develop new protocols. In addition to that, this allows you to also develop kind of interceptors. So because if you have a protocol that's supported, but you want to kind of intercept the data flows and also enhance data flows with additional information, then you have an Eclipse-based SDK that we also offer to customers, which, like I said, allows you to build new protocols, but also build extension interceptors, as we call it. So this is how we are solving this challenge on how are we supporting various connectivity and the various protocol needs.
Excellent. And what about the device management capabilities?
Device management is key, Tom, as you can imagine, because, also when I look at some of the scenarios that we are dealing with, if you just think of machines, some machines are so complex that you have like several hundreds or thousands of sensors on one machine, right? So what becomes extremely important is we are able to have lifecycle management at scale for IoT devices. And when I say at scale, and when I say lifecycle management at scale, it really goes across everything from onboarding to decommissioning of devices. And also when I talk about onboarding, we need to have semi-automated to automated means of onboarding these devices or sensors. This becomes key. Also, security becomes extremely critical when you talk about device management. So we support certificate-based authentication of devices at the multiple points, right, at the device, at the edge, on the cloud, back to all the way to the backend that we hook into. So secure connectivity is key, and going across all these broad variety of protocols. And what we're also doing from a device management point of view is we are able to normalize the underlying native protocol to provide kind of a seamless two-way communication between the devices as well as the application. So for customers, this means you can choose the best device that you want to connect into, independent of what protocol is being used, and have this bidirectional communication that you need. Also, like I mentioned earlier, aspects like firmware updates, where we are able to push commands to the device, also become key. Really, it's really about lifecycle management at scale for devices that in a secure manner that we are focusing on. No?
Okay, excellent. And what about access to the data? Are there APIs available for that?
Yes, APIs are, like it's a big topic at SAP, like it's at many other vendors out there, right? So huge number of APIs are definitely already available to access any artifacts on the cloud platform. But particularly when it comes to IoT, what we're talking about is APIs that allow you to access artifacts like live data, historical data. How can I create users based on certain rules that have access to particular data, or even creation of physical nodes, because sometimes your physical node needs to be mapped down to multiple logical nodes, and these are also APIs that are available for that, and also APIs to trigger commands from the cloud to devices. Today, what we offer these APIs are REST-based APIs. However, what we plan to do moving forward is also to have these APIs offered as OData APIs. And in general, as part of the company's strategy, we have an API business hub where all the platform APIs are being made available in addition to the in addition to the various application APIs that are coming from the various LOB applications. And these APIs for IoT will also be made available on the SAP API Business Hub. So that's part of our plans moving forward.
Okay, great. And are there, for instance, dashboards to visualize the sensor data?
Yes. So if you look at the what is kind of the user interface for an admin user, right? I mean, we have, of course, an admin persona, but we also have a user more of a business user. So we have dashboards to cater to both personas. And first of all, we have an IoT services cockpit, which really is a user interface that provides access to aspects like user management, device management, your resource visibility information, as well as to visualize your data. Now, in the services cockpit, what you can also see is both live data, so real-time data, as well as historical data. Now, what we're also doing as part of the Leonardo Foundation is we have the IoT application enablement capabilities, which is really about giving capabilities to partners as well as customers to build visual dashboards on top of this data. And so this is available on the web IDE, which is our development platform, which very quickly via these templates that we talked about earlier allows you to create these dashboards that help you visualize all the data that we brought in via the ingestion steps, right? So multiple dashboards cater to the various personas that use the data.
Okay, very comprehensive. And how are rules managed on the platform?
Yeah, so rules, as you can imagine, Tom, rules are needed at multiple levels, right? And if you look at the cloud platform, we are offering a rules engine that allows you to define and execute very complex as well as low-level granular rules as well. And if you look at how we are leveraging these rules can be evaluated both at closer to the device, at the edge, as well as on the cloud, right? And so typical examples of where we're using the rules as, like, for example, if you want to identify if threshold values are exceeded, or if you want to make sure that anomalies are detected earlier on, and based on that, alerts being triggered, which also includes aspects like sending commands back to the device or forwarding notifications to backend systems. All these can be very easily managed and extended using the rule engine. So we have a very simple rule wizard, as we call it, which allows you to in a very interactive manner kind of give you a script that allows you to quickly define rules based on the different entities that you have in the cockpit. And in the future, what we also believe is these rules can be combined with machine learning algorithms, which allow for self-healing mechanisms rather than getting more reactive to say that, okay, if rule exceeds a particular temperature, then trigger alert, but kind of also getting to a point where you combine these rules with machine learning capabilities to get to a point where some scenarios kind of get into a self-healing mode than getting very triggered based on reactive approaches.
Okay, great. Finally, Sindhu, there's a beta program for customers who want to leverage the cloud platform. How is that going? Have we interesting use cases we can talk to? Anything you want to share with the listeners about that?
Yes. So right now, like I said, we're running the beta program, Tom, and we have about 15 customers and partners who are working very closely with us as part of this beta program. Some great use cases as well. A couple of the ones that come to my mind, at least, are the one from Mitsubishi Electric. Mitsubishi Electric is looking into a scenario around connected customer service, right? So if you've seen these Mitsubishi robots, which are pretty advanced, if you ask me, and so that they're the key machine in this scenario around this connected customer service. And so what Mitsubishi is kind of addressing as value to the customer is the how can they support this entire scenario around after sales market. So that means the robot is sold to a customer, but everything is around that Mitsubishi robot, like if you have maintenance requests or spare parts ordering or field services support. And so in this scenario, what Mitsubishi is doing as part of the beta program is to connect their robot to the SAP Cloud Platform for a bidirectional integration between the robot and the platform. Here the Mitsubishi controller, so there are multiple controllers on this robot. They communicate via HTTP REST-based protocols. And so what we are getting is information from the robot based on defined rules, right? For example, if the grease time is too low or if the belt is broken on the robot, then automatically what happens as a result of that rule or that information being sent is a maintenance request is triggered into a backend application like PDMS, right? And there's also, like I said, the backward exchange where once the ticket is being created in PDMS, the information is sent back to the Mitsubishi robot. And actually what you see, which is pretty cool actually, is you can actually see this displayed on the robot. So it's, I mean, what Mitsubishi is, the value that they give to customers is really the tight integration into SAP end-to-end from their robots. So it's pretty cool. And if you ask me, I mean, what we are seeing in the beta itself is about 100 sensor data points being sent to the cloud platform, more than 100 commands being read back, and like I said, also integration into solutions like PDMS, who based on these different data points that are coming in from the robot to kind of trigger these. For example, the ticket number or the order number or the service status information. And here we are actually working with Mr. Thomas Lanterman, who is from the Mitsubishi Electric Group, who's actually been extremely collaborative with SAP on these use cases. And they have greater plans also beyond the beta. The second customer that comes to my mind is actually both a customer as well as a partner of SAP is Delaware. And Delaware actually what they want to do is, or what they're doing in the beta is really they are connecting these machines, and these machines are actually machines that make large scale dough, right? So like the dough you use for bread or for cakes and things like that. And these are huge machines. And it's pretty interesting again because these Delaware machines, what they need is to make sure that we are able to access all the information from these machines. So these machines are like 50-meter long machines which consist of several modules. And these machines can be assembled for different customers in a very modular approach, depending on which modules are needed for the customer. And each of these machines have more than about 500 sensors. So in the beta program, what Delaware is doing is really to connect these machines using protocols like OPC UA. So we connect that to a gateway, we convert that into MQTT, and then send that to the cloud. And here again, based on rules that are defined, we are kind of checking for alarms in case of threshold values being exceeded, or and so this is in the beta program. But however, they also want to have dashboards moving forward beyond beta. They want to create dashboards for their end customers, which allow them to have integration into systems like asset intelligence network, into CRM that includes the CAD drawings of these machines and so on. So to summarize, I mean, that's why I find this whole space so fascinating, because it's so interesting, the use cases, so varied across different industries. And with SAP, like I started off at the beginning, it's really not about just connecting to these individual machines, but it's really the end-to-end insight to action that we can offer based on the solid portfolio of solutions that we bring to the table, right? Sorry, long answer, but
not to worry, not to worry. Excellent, comprehensive, Sindhu. One last thing, Sindhu, before we cut off. If people want to know more about any of this, and I know you've been extremely comprehensive, but if people want to know any more about any of this, where can they find out more about you or about any of these capabilities?
Yeah, actually, there's tons of information, Tom, which will point to. Actually, we also launched the whole community page for Leonardo, as you know, and as part of this, also Leonardo Foundation, all the capabilities that I talked to you about on the edge, on the cloud platform, is also available there. So I'll send you the links to that.
And I'll put the links into the show notes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So there's tons of information, and also it's like in IoT, it's also bidirectional. So we're also looking for feedback from the community, and for the community to kind of also pick this up and drive some of the discussions moving forward. No?
Oh, super. Sindhu, that's been great. Thanks a million for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Tom. It's been a pleasure.